Good morning, everybody. I'm Audie Cornish. I want to thank you for joining me on CNN this morning. It's 1:30, and here's what we're talking about now. We're just hours away from a reported deadline from Nancy Guthrie's captors. An apparent ransom note set at 5 p.m. today. That deadline for a payment of $6 million, and that's according to a CNN affiliate. The Guthrie family says that they will pay.
We received your message.
Program. Join and get a free.
We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
CNN's Ivan Rodriguez is in Pima County, Arizona. Ivan, I want to start with something we're hearing today, that there's not word yet about proof of life for Nancy Guthrie. Can you talk about what you're hearing and where this investigation stands?
Heidi, good morning. That's right. Still no proof of life. This morning, when we arrived here outside of Nancy Guthrie's home, there was already a sheriff deputy here parked outside of her home. And we know, based on previous reporting, that the Nancy Guthrie family had requested that the Pima County Sheriff remain on site in order to continue to guard the home. So that is something that we expected to see this morning. We're probably going to see that throughout the day as well. Now, at least 2 investigators were seen examining a septic tank Sunday afternoon, and they were caught on video opening that tank using a long stick to poke inside, even at times using a flashlight to take a closer look. In there, they were on site for a couple of hours, but the Pima County Sheriff didn't exactly release any details as to why they were looking specifically at that septic tank. They did mention, however, that they were going back to multiple locations to do follow-up investigation work. And that is something, Audie, that we have seen now for the last several days. Many investigators going back to different homes, like Annie Guthrie's home, the eldest daughter of Nancy. They were there on Saturday night, where 3 unmarked vehicles were in that driveway for several hours while sheriff deputies were inside. And although the lights appeared dim inside of the home and the blinds were drawn, bright flashes appear to indicate that authorities may have been taking photographs inside of that home. When investigators did leave around 10:30 p.m. local time, they left with a bag that was placed in the back of a vehicle. A sheriff deputy was also seen wearing blue latex gloves. And again, we'll remember that Nancy Guthrie was at her daughter Annie's home the night before she disappeared. And I also want to take a second here to mention Nancy's health, because Sheriff Nanos mentioned last week that she does take life-saving medication, and it could be, quote, fatal if she goes without it. Now she's been without that medication potentially for a week now.
Okay, that's Ivan Rodriguez with the latest today. We're going to be following that as that deadline is near. Okay, the Seahawks beat the Patriots 29-13 in Super Bowl 60, and Kenneth Walker, the third, walked away as a first-time champ and MVP.
When a doctor told me I couldn't play no more, I just thought, football was over. That's what I was doing all my life, so it was a shocking moment.
The Seahawks running back is the first RB to be named Super Bowl MVP in nearly 30 years. Walker finished with 135 rushing yards and 26 receiving yards. CNN contributor Carrie Champion joins me now. Carrie, thank you so much for being here this early, because I know you're tired. But I wanted to talk about this. Obviously, the game was about defense. But then this story of Kenneth being injured and as a high school player having blood clots, what is his trajectory?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. I'm up early. I would be here early for you at any time. Second of all, I'm still coming off the high of the game and all that we were able to witness. Kenneth's story is really amazing, not unlike other stories. But the fact of the matter is that he had to deal with injuries for the better part of the last 3 seasons and was still able to push through and get to this season. And as you know, last night's game, if you watched, was so defensively significant, and it felt very special because they couldn't turn any offense. He was the only person on either side of the ball in the beginning of the game. I was like, oh, this is going to be a snooze. But at the very end, to learn his story, to know, excuse me, how difficult it was for him to get to this position in life and still push through. And he, as he mentioned, with the help of his family, winning the MVP despite all of the injuries that have plagued him since high school, as he talked about throughout his professional career. And here he is taking home this trophy, the first running back to do so, like you mentioned, is almost in 30 years. It's a remarkable story. And to me, it really was an example of what was going on last night. Everyone wanted to see something special, and it was there in many ways.
So the way you're talking about this story and the way we've all been talking about this story did make me think about what happened with the Olympics and skier Lindsey Vonn. She had a devastating crash. And the thing is, she was working towards, if people saw images of her on Instagram on Friday, doing her training, she was working towards a comeback story. And that's not how it worked out.
Unfortunately, I really, first of all, I know Lindsey, and I was really excited about her comeback. I know that she is a fierce competitor. And the thing is, when you perform at such a high level like that, Audie, it's really hard to have anything replace it once you retire. So when she walked away in 2019, she probably felt like there might be other things. But this story was amazing for so many reasons: her age, what she was trying to do, what she had been known for. And now there are many people saying, you know, obviously Monday morning quarterbacking, all pun intended, maybe she shouldn't have competed. But you can't tell somebody with that type of level of athleticism and competitiveness in their system not to compete. Fortunately, I mean, at least we hope, fortunately, we'll be able to see her sooner rather than later, not necessarily competing, but telling the story of why she wanted to do it. But it was still beautiful just for that little bit of time, in my opinion, just for that little bit of time to see her give everyone hope that, yes, I can still compete. And she said over and over again, you say there's a chance. If there's a little chance, there's a chance. And so I'm going to leave with that side of the story because she knows her body and she knew what she felt like she could have wanted to do, and she didn't want to live with regrets.
Okay. Carrie Champion, thank you so much. I love hearing an athlete's point of view. I love hearing from you. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And if you missed any of that conversation, you want to weigh in, we're a podcast. Scan the QR code now to find it. CNN This Morning is available anywhere you get your podcast. And next on CNN This Morning, Ghislaine Maxwell to speak before the House Oversight Committee today on the Epstein scandal. Democratic Congressman James